Hi, my name is Lydia Black, and I'm going to present to you guys about teratogens today. I'm going to persuade you as to why they're bad and why you shouldn't consume them, especially while pregnant, due to the effects that they can have on the fetus. So teratogens are chemicals that will affect a developing fetus, and specifically it affects the embryonic cells, and they can cause malformations within the fetus. Some examples of teratogens are arsenic, mercury, thalidomide, tobacco, alcohol, drugs like cocaine, any marijuana, and viruses also. Teratogens can be found in the environment as seen here through polluted air, metals, which are extremely common in the environment, volatile solvents, pesticides, food, and also in water. And water is a common intake, whether people know it or not. It's very common. Particularly, the fetus is affected during the gestational period, but anyone can be affected, even animals. And certain teratogens have a threshold, so they will be benign until it reaches a certain threshold. To start, we have arsenic. Arsenic can be harmful in several ways, as a metal, but also through well water and in industry. Lastly, you can actually have arsen intake through walking on lumber. So if you have a deck or something, you can walk through that and it'll actually seep through your skin and affect you that way. And arsenic causes spontaneous abortion of a fetus or even a stillbirth. Mercury is another teratogen. It can be ingested through a broken thermometer. It used to be used in dental fillings, and then fluorescent light bulbs as well. And what this does is it stops cell duplication, causing death, and then mutations in the dividing cells, and particularly it will affect the central nervous system of the fetus. And how you'll notice it a lot of times is a funky, like light red rash will begin to show up. A third teratogen is thalidomide. This is a medication that used to be used to treat nausea in pregnant women. It was banned within the U.S. Around 1950s. But is now still being used in certain countries, and people will try to get this in order to treat their nausea. But what they don't realize is how much it's harming the fetus. It will cause malformations, particularly with limb growth, so a fetus will not develop any arms or legs, or if they do develop the arms and legs, they'll be short and disformed. Also, they can develop issues such as not being able to hear, not being able to see, or their eyes will look weird, or they won't have any ears at all. A big source today is through tobacco. Tobacco has all kinds of chemicals in them, such as arsenic and mercury, as listed before. About 10% of women have said that they smoke while pregnant. So this is a huge number for the amount of women out there. And they're affecting the fetus in terrible ways that they're not even aware of. What happens is the placenta won't form right. They will have all kinds of heart diseases, and they could be at a higher risk for SIDS as well as asthma. So for tobacco, looking here, the top cause, it's one of the top causes of fetus mutations. And like I said, over 10% have said that they smoke while pregnant. And it causes anywhere from 19,000 to 141,000 infant deaths. And part of this is through SIDS. Next we have alcohol. Alcohol is also a source that many people don't think about. I know constantly telling you don't drink alcohol while you're pregnant, but they don't realize what it's going to do to the fetus. It includes several harmful chemicals, and it can cause fetal alcohol syndrome, which is FAS, and the causes can be mild to severe. It usually affects the brain and the spinal cord, and there will be facial mutations, and facial mutations can be seen here in this picture. So it'll flatten the face, the eyes won't form right, it'll kind of stretch it out, the chin won't grow all the way. And it'll cause all kinds of growth problems, as seen even with the face. Oftentimes they'll be smaller than they would have been, what a normal child would have been at the same age. And lastly, depending on the amount of intake of alcohol, it can cause a miscarriage or it can cause a stillbirth. So definitely not something to mess around with. Some ways that we can fix this problem and address it. Several people are researching on this, and it needs to be continued. One institute is the Institute of Translational Health Sciences, and they have a program called TERRIS, which is the Teratogen Information System. Research is being done on teratogens. They're finding out how do we avoid teratogens, and also what are other chemicals that are teratogens that we may not even know about and that are harming the fetus right now. It's important to help fund sources like this so that we can continue to educate and continue to stop these problems. This particular foundation has a fund that you can donate to that will help fund the research in particular so that they can find out what's causing this and how to stop it, or even maybe how to reverse the problem. So that's along with the solutions. We need to educate. It's extremely important that women who are pregnant or may become pregnant know that this is harming their child more than they realize. It's causing mutations, it's causing brain function, it's causing central nervous system development issues, it's causing no limb growth. So harming yourself is one thing, but to harm a child is another. You need to make the right decision for the child and not be selfish about it. So be sure that we as humans today are thankful that our mothers treated their bodies right, and in treating their bodies right, they treated ours right.